The Justin Robert Young podcast is brought to you, as always, by patreon.com/JuRY. Okay, here's the deal. We are into a new year. I've cleared the decks of everything that I'm doing, and I'm letting you know that the JuRY in Your House tour will take place in March. It's going to happen in March. That's a fact. So I am looking for cities. I am looking for cities to do the JuRY in Your House tour in. If you have never seen the JuRY in Your House tour, it means that I am going to go to a couple random cities in a week, and I'm going to do as many shows as possible. It might even be more than 3 cities. I'm trying to figure a lot of stuff out now, but email in justinrobertyoung@gmail.com, and a thank you to everybody who is making this possible at patreon.com/JuRY. And buy stickers or DIAF. Get sticker packs. Sticker packs from me, sticker packs from my wife, the fake gamer girl, Ashley Paramore. They are all available. We're switching these packs up in the next week. There's going to be an email going out in the next week. It's going to be a great time, so you better get these packs when you can. Go to stickers or DIAF. But enough of talking about how we power the show. What do you say? We just do the damn thing!
On the day that we met on the internet, I asked her for a photograph. She sent it over to me, said, I know it's ugly. And I said, girl, ugly ain't the half, look at you. Well, you got blue teeth and you only got 2 teeth, but I kinda like to see you smile. And it appears that over the years you've turned into a big old steaming pile. And she said, yeah, I know I ain't no supermodel. I said, you ain't a hand model, baby, but that's fine, 'cause you're pretty ugly by most people's standards, but you're alright by mine.
Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Justin Robert Young. This is the Justin Robert Young podcast. Like the dead man himself, I am taking souls and digging holes for you and your friends. Feel the power. The power surging through all of us. I feel like, man, is it just me, or does this feel like the first week that we're actually free of 2016? We are free of the gravitational pull of 2016. We've broken into orbit, ladies and gentlemen. May all acquaintance be forgot indeed. We got a hell of a show here. I believe that this is going to be the best year of this show. I believe that this is going to be the best year of your life. I believe this is going to be the best year of my life. I am now surging with optimism. I have no idea where this came from. Oh, man. Now I'm tired out. I feel like I just blew my load. Somebody clip that. Somebody clip me getting really excited and then immediately deflating. That was it. That was just it. I was like, okay, well, you want to know what? Let's just go ahead and, let's get out of here. Anyway, great show, everybody. All right. We do have a good show here today. I want to defend I want to defend Hollywood elites. I want to rank the most hipster cities I've ever been to. I want to talk college football. There's a lot, man. We got range. And also we got some great emails, amazing emails here for you guys. Where do we start? Let's start with Meryl Streep. Let's start. Chat right now. All chats, calling all chats. Diamond chat, Twitch chat. What did y'all think of the Meryl Streep thing? I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious. Because it seems to me that there is only two responses to the Meryl Streep thing. Either she is the most brave person on the planet, finally, the greatest American actress speaks truth to power, or she is a gas bag Hollywood elitist who is doing nothing but telling a bunch of forklift drivers how they should live their lives. We're getting a lot. I mean, some comments a little bit on the lighter end for those of you listening. It's just some Z's, right? Some a little harsher. Otherwise, we're getting a few great speeches. Won't change anything. +1 Streep. Queen Meryl. And may we all lay fealty to Queen Meryl. I don't really have a lot to say about what she said. I mean, obviously, listen, she's a big Hillary Clinton supporter. She's very upset with the election. She thought it was going to go another way. She feels in peril. I think she has a right to say it. I mean, listen, you cannot separate liking to go see movies with the fact that these people have opinions. Like, we can't have it both ways. We can't just be like, yo, Iron Man, I thought it was great when Ironmonger was on your back and you, like, flew up into the air and you were like, yo, your suit isn't designed for ice. And then Ironmonger fell off. That shit was dope. And then when Robert Downey Jr. is like, I believe that SEALs should be able to run for president. You're like, shut up! Shut up! Go back to acting! You can't do that. You can't do it. It's impossible. Like, because we wouldn't want it to happen to us. We wouldn't want to be good at something and then not be able to speak. Now, if we choose not to speak, that's our own personal opinion. And maybe you can believe that Meryl Streep can have a better career where more people will like her if she does not speak. But I don't think that anyone would be rooting for the fact that if we were in a position of tremendous power, that we would not be able to speak our minds, right? I think that's non-controversial. So, all right, this is not politics, and I think a lot of people know that I have tried on both sides to be understanding and read the best possible intentions into every candidate's thing. But I will say this, and this is fairly a little political. I think that there is next to zero chance that Donald Trump was not doing an impression of that reporter when he was doing I don't know what I said. I think he was doing an impression of the reporter. I think he was was he mocking a disabled reporter? Yes, he was mocking the reporter who is disabled. But I don't necessarily think that he was, that he was mocking that dude for his disability. That's just my opinion. I think Donald Trump is being disingenuous when he says that, I have no idea. I've never met him, yada, yada, yada. No, because he did the exact arm thing, right? I'm just saying, again, I don't think he was mocking the disability. I think he was mocking the reporter. What do you mean that's not in dispute, that he was mocking the reporter? That's it. Anyway, it still makes it a douchey move. Welcome to politics. It's all douchey moves. Moving on. Meryl Streep. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I am going to defend the Hollywood elites. I know a lot of people will think, oh man, these Hollywood elites. Man, they're out here doing coke, banging each other, having high cheekbones, running on treadmills at Equinox, getting designer jeans, getting swag bags, having entourages, orgies, beautiful people, infinity pools, hot cars, fast women, more cocaine. These Hollywood elites, man, they got it all. And next thing you know, they got to come here and tell us their opinions about everything. Screw them. I would like to defend the Hollywood elites. I would like to defend the Hollywood elites because I would like to just bring people into a world that I was unaware of until I got closer to it. And that is the world of professional production. Movies, TV, reality shows, all of it. There is a book that a lot of people quote that I won't quote because I haven't read it. I think it's Moving Fast and Slow, I believe it's called. But it's all about the idea of ego depletion. Why do people on reality shows act like psychopaths? Is it because they have found this select crop of absolute lunatics for whom they just place a camera on? And even though in our minds we're like, if I knew this was going to be on national television, I would never throw a glass at somebody in my family member and call them a bitch. No. Well, yes, but also no. There is a dehumanizing element to entertainment. And anybody who's gone on an audition understands this. And as much as it's laughable that La La Land, the musical movie, kind of makes actors into our last true heroes in a celebration of the dreamer, it doesn't invalidate the fact that there is a lot of ego depletion to entertainment. You go on an audition. You pour your heart out in an audition. Nobody calls you back. You put a television show into development. You work hard on the presentation. You work hard befriending anybody who can possibly make this happen for you. You become best friends with everybody on the project as you are pushing it along, and then the network doesn't call you back. And all of a sudden, nobody's best friends anymore. And all of a sudden, all that hard work was for naught. And all of a sudden, you look back and you're like, wow, that was 6 months wasted. You do a movie, right? This is a movie. It actually gets money. You go ahead, you do the movie, and next thing you know, there's a tragedy that makes nobody want to go see a certain kind of film, right? There's a lot of tearing you down publicly in that field. And I believe, as much as, we want to, and I don't think that it's unwarranted, call all these actors and producers and writers snowflakes, right? We want to say that they're in a sycophantic bubble. I do think that there is something to the idea that industry creates the need for validation. And that overt acts of empathy are something that is welcomed within that community. Now, I'm not saying that this is a perfect way to live. I'm certainly not saying that this is a better way to live than anybody else does. My only point is to explain why I think we get this level of outpouring on these political and cultural subjects. Because at the highest level of these professions, there is an exponential level of people criticizing them. I was listening to an interview yesterday with Bill Simmons and Joe Buck on Bill Simmons' podcast. Joe Buck is an announcer, sports announcer for Fox, does football, baseball, whatever have you, right? And he was talking about when his dad, the legendary Jack Buck, was doing national games, everybody in the sports media lived in terror from one media columnist in USA Today. That he was, and they didn't use this term, the Eye of Mordor, right? You just hoped that the Eye of Mordor did not cast his gaze on you this week. And everybody would open up the USA Today. USA Today was a newspaper. Newspapers used to be basically a bunch of blog posts printed out on very cheap paper. It would be delivered to your door, or you could pick it up at your hotel room. And they would all be terrified. That they would get eviscerated by this guy. Because when this guy lit you up, you were toast. It was over. Jordan Blythe says, careful, I work at a newspaper. I worked in newspapers. I love newspapers. But, man, you are the last fiddler in that Titanic band, right? Like, you know that. I hope you look around to everybody with you right now and just say, it was an honor playing with all of you. My point is that as we have disseminated our media and as more and more people have an ability to comment on you, the people that are in public spheres see that a lot more. And there is something within us that ignores 90% of the compliments and overrepresents the 10% of the insults. It's just a part of who we are. And it's not necessarily an issue of us like not valuing ourselves or anything. It's just something that happens. And it happens to all of us, regardless of our profession. But if I can indulge you in a few seconds of, oh, whither the poor actors? Who will think of the actors? They get it a lot. If there's one element of criticism that has thrived in the internet age, it's movie and television criticism. You have more people that are more reputable than ever talking about your craft. You've got social media, wherein you can probably search your name at any time, 24/7, and find people saying positive or negative things. And it doesn't matter how relevant you are, right? Because also, let's say that you've laid yourself out and you have repeatedly been rejected. The silence of nobody commenting on anything that you do is oftentimes just as bad. What I'm saying is that Hollywood is a needy place. And what do needy people do? Well, they reassure themselves internally. And they project that now that I've gotten to the mountaintop, now that I have felt that I've achieved something, I'm going to say something. I'm going to help somebody. I'm going to make this journey worth it. And that's why we get Meryl Streep. And that's why we get everybody. I mean, I think Jimmy Fallon's Trump jokes were all just him covering his ass because he is he felt burned by the whole ruffling the Trump hair thing. But in general, there's just an element of neediness there, right? I mean, there's an element that they need to repair their universe, and that's why we get it. So it's like, is it annoying? Yeah, it is. It's annoying. There's no debating that. There's absolutely no debating that it's annoying. There's no debating the fact that, like, the idea that people inside that very, and I would say that it's a sycophantic bubble, that they believe that their experience as representative of the United States is kind of a joke, right? But I get it. I understand it. I very much believe it. You know, I very much think that there is something there, and I very much hope that everybody, you know, I don't know. Somebody understand the poor life of Meryl Streep. Speaking of unrelatable nonsense, somebody suggested here in the chat room that that I rank hipster cities, which really comes to bear what makes a hipster city. I'm curious to know what you guys think there in the comments. What do you guys think? What makes a hipster city? Because here's what I would start it out as. I think a hipster city needs a couple things. Number one, you need, well, here, let me just say this. A hipster city is an ephemeral thing. Now, sometimes that ephemera can burn brighter and therefore longer. However, in general, a hipster city is something that is usually a kind of crappy place that now is kind of on the uptick. Because what you need is you got to lay down a good base of poor hipsters, right? Because then you bring the rich hipsters on top of them. So there's like depressed real estate, poor hipsters, a.k.a. artists, then rich hipsters, a.k.a. people with money who don't want to wear suits. That's a hipster city. So here we go. We got some suggestions here in the chat. All right, what do you need? Legal marijuana, says Chadward. Dudes with man buns, says Free Rangers. A hat shop. More than one cat cafe. A Thai Italian fusion restaurant. The existence of a penny farthing lane. No, that's great. I feel like Merman 1983 says the existence of a penny farthing lane. I live in Oakland, California. Oakland, California is a great example of this. A place that was not great for a while, now becoming great. And now we are in the Goldilocks zone of hipsterdom for Oakland. Because now Oakland is cheap enough that people who want to open cool things can open them at a better price than they can in San Francisco. So you have a lot of talent from San Francisco coming out here to the East Bay. So Don Get His says, dude, you're wearing the hipster uniform. Duh. What do you think? I'm going to get my ass kicked if I walk out there wearing overalls with a hayseed sticking out of my mouth playing a jug, right? Talking about my favorite hee-haw episode. Talking about how funny the Ford F-150 commercials are with Dennis Leary. I like it when he says numbers. At the end of the day, the best hipster cities have the following things. Good food, good culture, which used to say experimental culture. So let me replace good with experimental. And Uber. I would say those three things. And good bars, right? Good food, experimental culture, Uber, and good bars. And a hat shop and a penny farthing lane. I feel like those are the best. Those are the best examples. So if we're gonna look at that, you have to understand that there are never really hipster cities. Okay, there are hipster neighborhoods. Because, of course, totally square to just have a whole city be a thing. I mean, oh my God. So, for example, I would say San Francisco kind of doesn't count because San Francisco's tiny. So there are a million different neighborhoods, but all the neighborhoods are like 4 blocks long. It doesn't really even count. San Francisco, extraordinarily hipster. Oakland, extraordinarily hipster. LA, you're looking more Silver Lake, right? That's not, you can't say LA's a hipster city because LA is so gigantic, it's a million different cities, right? It's rich kid central. It's hipster central. It's like popping bottles at the club central. Like there's a lot, right? Hello Anchorage says, are there black people in hipster cities or is that a white person thing? There are black people. In fact, there are like everybody needs a black friend. This is getting troublingly racist. Oh, a brewery district. See, now here's a question. Are breweries hipster? Certainly craft cocktails are hipster. But breweries are kind of, you want to know what that is? That's blue collar hipster city. So like there are places in like Birmingham. True story. Birmingham's got a cool little hipster nook to it, right? That's surrounded by breweries. Beer nerds are not necessarily hipsters, but they are related. They are indeed related. Microbreweries. See, Jordan Blythe says craft breweries are hipster AF. Yes. I mean, like, I guess that is the question. I don't know. Email in on this. JustinRobertYoung at gmail.com. BioCow, I know quite a few black, Hispanic, and Asian hipsters. Yeah, no, I was just kind of playing, making the joke there. Hipsterism welcomes all kinds. All kinds are welcome. Well, because really, let's go ahead and break down what is the hipster aesthetic. I have always said that, like, in the same way that Austin isn't Texas, Austin is where everybody in Texas that doesn't think like the rest of Texas moves. Every state has one of these. In fact, name your city in the chat room. Every state has it. It's easy to find. It's where all the gay people live. In your city, in your state rather, in your state, you can find the hipster city because it's where all the gay people live. Usually that's a pretty easy way to find it. Like Salt Lake City, might not think. Utah, Mormon state, right? Known to be pretty conservative. Salt Lake City, mega rad. There we go. We're getting all of it. Taz the Man says it's Kansas City. And I guess Kansas or Missouri. Lawrence, Kansas. Toronto, Ontario. SLC shout out. Oh my God, where we're getting stuff in Italy. Udine, Italy. Willow Moon says Albany, New York. Not in Winnipeg. Calgary, Canada. Calgary, Alberta, Canada is a hipster place? Oh my God, I would love to come to Calgary, Alberta, Canada. See some wrestling. That's where Bret Hart's from, after all. By the way, Fofino Giuliardi says, yes, I'm Italian. I don't know what my first hint would have been. Fofino Giuliardi. Charleston, South Carolina. Now, here's the other thing. This very, very, very often correlates with college towns. Because young people want to spend money on the kind of frivolous bullshit that hipsters love. Movies, food, drink, college kid kind of stuff. So in a way, you can say that the hipster aesthetic is definitely an element of maybe arrested, not adolescence, but arrested development when you are between the ages of 18 to 24. Because a lot of the things that I value are the things that I valued when I was 18 to 24, but now I have money so I can get more of it and better, right? So before I was like, man, what do I want to do? I'm 18. I'm in Syracuse. Well, I want to go see a movie, and then I want to get drunk, and then I probably want to smoke pot. What do I do now? A lot of the same stuff. Except now I go to a better movie theater, I drink better booze, and the weed's legal. Fritz X007 says, Pyongyang, so hipster. God, I would love that. I would love if North Korea just tried to attract hipsters. Like, there's that one border town right on the DMZ between North and South Korea that's just like a fake city, but it looks gorge. It's just like this amazing looking city. And then you walk in and you realize that it's made of, paper mache. And you're like, what? I just crossed into North Korea. And they're like, yeah, no backsies. Oh my God, it'd be so great if they just changed it to be a bunch of craft cocktail bars. And it's just like a bunch of smoking hot Korean girls in fishnet stockings, like typing on their MacBook while a lemur sits on their shoulder. Just all sorts of detached irony. Yeah, anyway, we're going to the Jarmish marathon in a couple hours. I don't know, do you want to come? Smoking clove cigarettes. Dude next to him has like some steampunk vape contraption. They're all eating cronuts. God, that would be the best. Hipster DMZ. The Hipster DMZ would be the best. Merman 1983 says they're like 90s slackers, but they have an inflated self-confidence. And more money. That's the key. 90s had slackers, and the idea of a more bohemian lifestyle was kind of extolled, right? That it was like, yeah, grunge was in, ripped t-shirt. Yeah, I'm in a band. I mean, I work at a video store, but whatever. I'm not a part of your corporate bullshit system. Now it's like, you want to know what? The corporate bullshit system's kind of cool, right? I get healthcare. I can probably make, high five figures. Now I'm a graphic designer. All I really had to do was learn Photoshop when I was 14, and now I have a career for life. So that's pretty sweet. And now I can spend a bunch of money. That is an interesting evolution, right? Money became more important in the slacker to hipster aesthetic. Fitzship29 points out that in our fake demilitarized zone between South and North Korea, the lemur is also smoking. The lemur also has a tiny clove cigarette. And it is also bored. Jordan Blythe is pointing out that I've totally nailed his life. That he learned Photoshop at age 9 and now he has a graphic design job for life. Protester Jen says, money was always important. Well, I mean, money is always important, right? We live in a capitalist system. Money is what makes the world go round. Your life will be better if you have more money. It's not going to be fixed, but any problems that you have will be exacerbated by poverty. That's just true. Because any stress you have in your life is going to be a problem, right? It's going to be more of a problem if you got to worry about keeping the lights on. Like, that's not controversial, is it? Is it controversial that money makes life better? Again, not perfect. All problems in your own personality will remain until you address them and fix them. But it's better to have those problems rich than to have those problems poor. I guess that's all I'm saying. Because poverty brings along its own problems. And I think exacerbates the stuff that you have inside you to begin with. Money lets you not worry about money. Wisely says Merman 1983. I agree. Hoffa Files says, I would say 90% of my problems would be solved with money. I mean, it seems reasonable to me. Although I think it's probably lower than you think. I think maybe 50% of your problems can be solved with money. A lot of the other problems in your life are probably you. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way the news goes. I don't know how we got on this. Let's go ahead. What else do we got? Here? I didn't really rank the hipster cities. Okay, here's my ranking. Best hipster cities ever. I'm going to go at top 5. And these are going to be cities in which I enjoy personally, right? So I'm going to rank my own favorite hipster cities. As much as I kind of despise it, New York, Brooklyn, right? That's 5. Just because I want to snub New York, I'm going to say Chattanooga above New York. Get some. I'll go L.A., Austin, Oakland. There we go. Cardzamom says Asheville, North Carolina hipsters, they have a craft beer community. Yeah, maybe. I'll tell you what. I wonder whether or not craft beer as a hipster thing is more of a southern Midwest hipster thing. Because I do think that there's a difference on the East Coast and on the West Coast with hipsters and beer nerds. They are two different things out on the East Coast and the West Coast. I don't know. I'm doing, oh crap, I didn't even put Portland on there. You want to know what? I'm sorry. New York, you're bumped for Portland. Get some. All right. College football. Here's where everybody who's watching us can leave if they want. I watched college football last night. I don't usually watch a ton of college football. I try to keep up with my alma mater, the Syracuse Orangemen, but I had a really, really great time. I think that there's something really, really fun to football played really, really well. I like sports. I had a great time. However, it's really ridiculous that the athletes don't get paid, right? It's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of silly. Eureka Geek says, I'm not leaving. I'm a Clemson graduate and a diehard fan. It's dumb. It's extraordinarily stupid that the students don't get paid. This is not some little, funny thing that we're just going to turn a few cameras, This is a multi-million-dollar operation. It's just insane. It's just crazy. And, the usual arguments are, all right, here we go. Let me just take this from the chat room. Czardom. I wouldn't pay them. I would pay the majority, if not all of their tuition. Seems fair. No, that does not seem fair. Number one, because there's no other restrictions. I went to school for newspaper journalism. I had a job writing at a newspaper my entire time that I got a degree. It did not impede my ability to get a degree. It made me more prepared for my future career. And there's no reason why that should be, for some reason, different in athletics. Everybody I knew that got internships, that got jobs in tech right out of college, a lot of times they were working during the summer. A lot of times they were working while they were still at college. A lot of people right now. How many Hearthstone streamers? How many streamers right here on the Twitch platform are doing it from their dorm rooms? Doesn't seem to be impeding in the way that they're getting their education. So why should it be different? Let alone, God forbid, we mix up money in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl presented by AT&T. Oh my God, we'll sully this beautiful tradition if we dared give but a simple penny to the people that are sacrificing their livelihoods and bodies, a lot of which will never go on to play pro football, a lot of which will never go on to make another dime on athletics. But as long as the Dr. Pepper kickoff, followed by the All-State halftime show, being broadcast to millions and millions of homes because the NCAA has sold the rights to their product to the ESPN and ABC Disney conglomerate for millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. No, God damn it. Please, please do not mix up money in this pure sport of athleticism. And, the issue is like, oh, well, if you put money in the game, then all of a sudden the small schools aren't going to have a shot at the big schools. Like they have a shot at the big schools now. Like the Eastern Illinois Jackoffs really have a shot to beat the Alabama Crimson Tide, right? It's not that they already doesn't exist. And also, here's the dirty little secret for a lot of these massive programs: all these kids are getting paid anyway by a bunch of car dealership boosters who just are obsessed with college football and want these kids to have money. Musical Chemist says the NCAA field hockey players probably never going to get paid. Guess what? Because their sport doesn't generate revenue. You shouldn't get paid if your sport doesn't generate revenue. If your sport generates the Haynes Herway coin flip, followed by the national anthem presented by Applebee's, then yes, you should get a little payment. Certified 76 says the Jackoffs did produce Tony Romo. That's actually really good for anybody who gets that. Aren't some of the highest paid public employees at state schools football coaches? And by the way, they should get paid that. The college football coaches should get paid the insane amounts that they get paid. You want to know why? Because I was at a school that won a national championship in basketball. I was covering it for the newspaper at Syracuse when Carmelo Anthony, Hakeem Warwick, and Jerry McNamara had a stunning run and beat the Kansas Jayhawks for the national championship. And the next year, enrollment soared. There is no better way to advertise your university than your athletics and major sports doing well. There's nothing you can do. Your programs, your departments can be as great as possible. You can be curing cancer every day. New cancer, throat cancer, cured it. Lung cancer, cured it. Ball cancer, cured it. Titty cancer, cured it. Doesn't matter. You can produce 1 million different alumni. Every famous person from your school in your field. Doesn't matter. Some 18-year-old who couldn't spell cat if you spotted him the C and the A runs option right and scores a touchdown, or some J.O. from Mechanicsburg who gives a fuck launches a three-pointer from 5 feet beyond the arc and beats Roy Williams. All of a sudden, floods of applications because your name's out there. It's just simple advertisement. Anyway, there we go. That's my sports. I don't know why I decided to get into sports here today. All right. You can email this show, justinrobertyoung@gmail.com. Again, that is justinrobertyoung@gmail.com. Go ahead and get your emails in. We will read them right here on the show. We begin with Andrew. Andrew says, don't move to Sacramento. It's America's Fallujah. That is actually a response to a stream that we did on Thursday, which pretty much devolved into me looking at various rental prices throughout the rest of the country. And I made some great discoveries, and we looked up how much it cost to live in downtown Sacramento, and I was surprised at how affordable it was. Andrew warning me away. Well, thank you. Thomas writes, after listening to your talk about La La Land and musicals in general, I wanted to quick chime in. For context, I'm a 99% heterosexual man. The 1% is for when I see Brandon Routh in Legends of Tomorrow, who loves movies, lives by the phrase my favorite genre of film is good movies, and thought La La Land was an absolute masterpiece. Why is the whole straight guys give a million disclaimers for liking musicals thing still a thing? I honestly have no idea. I thought we'd moved on from this as a society at this point, but maybe it was just me. The simple fact that a film is a highly subjective art form and all different types of people can like all different types of movies. I shouldn't say anything about sexual orientation or anything else, even remotely along those lines, and nobody should be ashamed of liking what they like. Interestingly enough, when I first saw La La Land, I texted the only 3 friends I have that I was seeing it. 2 of those friends are also heterosexual men. Ironically, the 2 straight men expressed excitement, saying that they also wanted to see it, and the woman, who granted knows absolutely nothing about movies, responded with, "What's that?" I walked away loving it and singing its praises, no pun intended. I gave it 10 out of 10 when I reviewed it. I put it in my number 2 of the best of the year list, right under Captain America Civil War, because I'm an unapologetic Marvel fanboy, and I've been listening to the soundtrack over and over and over again since leaving the theater. I feel no shame for any of this, and neither should anyone. If somebody says different, they probably need to learn to be a little bit more open-minded. Sorry if I got ranty and rambly. This is just a topic that gets on my nerves. Love the show. If you didn't listen to the show last week, I made the observation that it's funny to me that when heterosexual men discuss La La Land, it usually comes with a 40-minute disclaimer. Yeah, man. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I kind of like musicals. Like, I sort of like, I mean, like, I liked, I don't know. I heard the Hamilton soundtrack, and like, I don't know. I just really, I like the acting. It's like, it's really athletic, Also, for the record, I liked La La Land, and my wife hated it. Moving on, Connor writes, micro goal. We're doing micro goals all through 2017. Achieve your micro goals with the help of the JuRY podcast. Connor says, micro goal, finish 1 book. Nice. Finish that book. Email me that you completed your micro goal. SVI writes, I'm not sure if I can be considered a rich kid, but I do agree that I don't mind failing if I don't have much to lose. SVI, please, email me your net worth. Just kidding. But I'm curious to know whether or not you grew up rich. I'm curious about that. Mike writes, actually, no, you want to know? We're going to end with Mike. We're going to go to Trench. Trench writes, I just got done listening to the story of your rich friend who liked to get free stuff, and it reminded me of 2 stories. The first is from when I was young and I worked at a CVS in a somewhat affluent small town. On more than one occasion, I saw a prestigious pillar of the community shoplift something like eye drops or gum. The manager never pressed charges because he said that they're all connected with the local judges and would never get convicted. The second story is when I worked at a medical practice out of Westchester County. Westchester! As a medical biller. The fine people of Westchester County are all the stereotypical definition of white people rich. That's it, Westchester. They would literally get offended if they actually received a bill in the mail. One woman even called me up crying because she was so upset that she received a bill. We're not talking a huge dollar amount either. It was usually anywhere between $15 and $25. As far as musicals, I never really liked them since my parents dragged me away from Atari to go see The Sound of Music. It made me wish that the Nazis had captured the Von Trapps. Thanks again for the great content. All right. Those are the rich kid emails. Let's start with this. Mike. This is a good one, guys. You're going to be glad. You're going to be glad that you waited. Mike writes, one night this week, my wife was unable to wake me for sex. She tried, and I told her no, I pooped and rolled over. I have no recollection of it, so she ordered a couple dildos on Amazon. I'm going to read that sentence again. One night this week, my wife was unable to wake me for sex. She tried, said I told her no, I pooped, and rolled over. I have no recollection of it, so she ordered a couple dildos off Amazon. This is maybe one of my favorite 3-sentence combinations I've ever heard. The fact that the sleepy excuse was no, I pooped. It is not I am pooped. It is I pooped. That is how it is written. The email goes on. For some reason, this upset me. She didn't order the Godzilla 9-inch Thunder, so I'm not intimidated by size. I think it's more like, welp, I'm replaced. Though her response was, quote, there's nothing like being pounded by a man from behind. Don't worry. End quote. Still, though, I just can't shake it. Tips? Question mark? He adds parenthetically, and just the tip. Number one, can we just please, in the chat room right now, Mike stepping up his email game. Thank you, Mike. Can we all get a round of applause for Mike in the chat room? Please, please. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Everybody cheer. Everybody cheer right now. Oh, man, we're having a great time. Okay. Mike, let me say, all right. Number one, thank you for writing the email. You are already a great, beautiful man. Number two, this conversation kind of reminds me a lot of when women get freaked out about how much some guys jerk off. To which my response is that, hey, guess what? Masturbation was here before you. And should you leave me or die before me, it'll be here after you. It is the alpha and the omega of sexual contact, right? Masturbation is the beginning. It might be the end. It's going to exist all the way through. If you try to deny it, it will only be a detriment to your life should you have the urge to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and suspect that it wasn't necessarily because you said, no, I pooped in your sleep, that your wife wanted to order the dildos. Probably wanted to order the dildos long before. This just might have been the reason in which she felt she could justify it to you. My thought? Have fun with it. Why do they have to just be her dildos? She can enjoy them. You can enjoy them with her. Explore. Life is a grand, grand, grand adventure. And sometimes you run into some dildos. Are you going to resent those dildos? Are you just gonna look at her underwear drawer and point your finger and shake it and say, shame, shame you dildos? No. Have fun with them. You want to know what? Live a happy, healthy life wherein you can do whatever the hell you want. After all, why is she waiting until you're asleep to try to wake you up where you're going to sleepily tell her that you pooped earlier that day? And also, when is that never going to be true? Go ahead and have fun. That is my recommendation to you. Although, when it comes to awesome emails, I am all for more people being like Mike. I wanna be like Mike. If I could be like Mike. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to email this show, it is justinrobertyoung@gmail.com. If you would like to follow me on social media, it is Justin R. Young, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Of course, you can hashtag join the conversation at diamondclub.reddit.com and diamondclub.tv, where each and everything that we do is streamed. Follow the permanent IRC on diamondclub.tv. It is the awesome place where all the cool kids hang out. Of course, patreon.com/JURY. Ladies and gentlemen, till next time, my name is Justin Robert Young, reminding you to please don't die.
Do you like the way you're dressed up? Do you like how your hair gets cut? Do you like when your friends...
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.